This is Margaret Ann Windsor, my real name, and I was kidnapped in 41 and brought to Moulton, Alabama, given the name of a twin. Both twins, Peggy and Carl Dempsey, were dead, and they'd been killed by their mother, Lina, and I grew up being given that name, my ID taken, and the reason I'm doing this, I've got a lot of tapes of. Uh, I wrote about mind control murders back in Atlanta, 76 till April Fool Day of 80 when I had antifreeze put in me and I should have died. Um, Somehow I lived and I was illegally transported across the state line back to Huntsville, Alabama. That's NASA and the command center there, the Army Redstone Arsenal Command Center. So there's a lot that goes on there. Worked for the district attorney, passed a background check. Fred Simpson was a Madison County DA. That's when John Lennon was killed, and he was shot by Mark David Chapman. So I was writing before then, though, and I thought that was because of the book I wrote, and it was in part. But then I found out about my kidnapping in '83 when I was flown out to Larry Flint's. Mr. Flint had been shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, while I was doing the book. He was shot March the 6th of '78. I was living in Marietta at Moonraker Apartments doing the book, MD License to Kill. And I had a letter from the FBI that was sent to me. Well, it was issued to me June the 23rd of '79, and William Harper was the U.S. attorney in Atlanta that issued it, and it said national security involved, ongoing investigation. So while I'm doing this, I got up in the middle of the night, and I'm standing here over this now. But I got up in the middle of the night, and I've gotten up now and got some fresh air in here. And, well, I had fresh air last night. The windows are all open, which is not good with fans and good for my arthritis. But in the past, my illness, I'm allergic to chemicals. My immune system attacks itself when I'm in when the fumes are toxic to me, like sealants or a lot of household cleaners and things you remodel with petroleum products. And I get really sick if I'm forced to inhale them in a small space. And the only cure is getting away from it. My immune system attacks itself, and I get really ill. And that's why over the years, because of my environment being controlled where I had to inhale it, that's how they moved me. And I'll quote I've already done that. I won't put his name up again. A Virginia State trooper who's retired in August 14th of '09 said to me well, his wife actually did, that's how we move you, using chemicals. Well, I know that, but my word has been made no good. They've done such a, I'm not talking about state troopers, some of them are very good. So anyway, I want to show you this, though. When I moved in here a month and a half ago, this should not have been here anyway. This is an antiquated old unit. This is an old building here. But I needed a place to stay, and it's HUD, a low income, and it requires a lease. And anyway, I moved in here, and I've already put photos. I'm not going to go down and do all this again, but showing the rest of this. This is mold, and it's at the top where the fumes come out, and I can't use it. I tried the air conditioning or the heating, and it soaks around it. The carpet, which I understand was just put in, and when I asked them to fix it, they wouldn't. They told me to get the fans put in the windows, and I've complained since then about it. If you call that complaining, they didn't fix it, and I have to wonder what's underneath. This is old, and I think what's happened too is there's a hole in the back and the sun beats down on it, and also this is just my assumption here, because I looked through and could see the light coming through from the other side, the outside. And I think what's happened is this is outside here, and I'm going to get away from this. It's, okay. And the rain and the sun hits it in the afternoon, which is not good for mildew. But, I mean, it's really bad. This is filter way down here. And you should see I've got photos of what was underneath there. Well, it still is. They haven't touched it, and they won't. So one reason I'm doing this was last night. You can hear it now, the rasping and everything. I was trying to do a video on about Channel 7 here that had the live shootings, and I did 2 of them, and I couldn't even talk, and I took a photo of my face, and I saw that how red it was. It's the inflammation just flares. I didn't know it looked that bad last night, and I couldn't even talk when I was trying to do the video. I still can't. So I either get out of here, and I don't know how much damage is done already, but nobody's going to touch it. It's because of who I am, and not just because of the book and what I've been telling. Anyway, I did want to mention this, whether Monday is the 28th, and it'll be the anniversary of when Larry McDonald, the plane went down the KAL in August the 31st of 83. And, of course, later, forgotten how many years later, Diana died, which she's a part of the cover-up of spending the money and the whole thing. I mean, she knew about my kidnapping and whose money and position that her and Elizabeth and her husband at the time, Charles, a bunch of thugs. But anyway, also I wanted to mention this. When I was going out to Larry Flint's after Larry McDonald, the plane he was on, went down. It was KAL from Juneau, Alaska to Seoul, South Korea. And it veered into Russian airspace, and they shot it down, and I don't know, 200 some plus, I believe, was aboard and died. And Larry McDonald, Congressman Doctor, was supposed to be aboard. And also, I was flown out there, became a candidate to replace him in that special election, and I was flown out to Flint's, and I usually put up here endorsement by Flint, Hustler Magazine. I thought it was a nice one. It was April of '84. And that he published it. And he said I knew who was responsible for his shooting in Lawrenceville, Georgia, March the 6th of, 78. And that was a mind control shooting. The persons were programmed to shoot him and kill his attorney. But there's a whole list of them, like Mark David Chapman shot John Lennon, so I could go on. And you don't just have to use a gun. You can make somebody fall off a horse, like Steve Reeves, Superman. And then his wife died of cancer. And no, I'm not just reaching it and trying to pull stuff together. I get nothing out of this but hell. I would like my name back. And my kid's name is back, and I'd like what's mine. And people prosecuted, half of them are dead that got in on it all. But anyway, what I wanted to say here was in the middle of the night I got up, and that is mold that I just showed you on the pictures. I couldn't talk. I still can't, really. And nobody will touch it. I've called the environmental yesterday, and they won't call me back. I did get people in Roanoke, and I won't name them. People are afraid to even, they're afraid because the powers that be, and it might hurt them adversely. So I won't say anything other than I sent a picture to this company that cleans up mold, and what they said back, it was mold. They wouldn't say if it was black mold or not, but it certainly needed to be all of it cleaned up. Well, of course, they're not going to clean it up here. The maintenance aren't, and I can't pay, and I doubt that they'd let an outsider come in to clean it, because no matter, you don't know what's underneath the carpet and been there all these years. But I want to get back to this before I lose you, and there's a reason for it, whether, when I was flown out to Flint, I was flown out